Hello and welcome to Dateline Abuja. I am Kayla Megwa. Let's begin with our Abuja wrap, filling you in on the major stories from Nigeria's presidency.
President Muhammadu Buhari on Sunday evening at the Aso Rock Villa met separately with former Minister of Transportation Rotimi Amechi and the Senate President Senator Ahmad Lawan, both of whom were presidential aspirants at the just concluded primary election of the All Progressives Congress.
I've come to congratulate the President for the very successful presidential primaries and convention of our great party. I also have come to thank him for being there for us all this time. And as a father, we remain very loyal and committed to him and to this Federal Republic. We have also, in the process, discussed the way forward between now and the next year, when this administration would have completed its tenure on the 29th of May 2023.
The President also met with some members of the Progressives Governors Forum. They include Governor Atiku Bagudu of Kebbi State, Governor Babagana Zulum of Borno State, Governor Nasir El-Rufai of Kaduna State, Governor Badaru Abubakar of Jigawa State, as well as Governor Abdullahi Sule of Nasarawa State, Governor Simon Lalong of Plateau State, Governor Yaya Bello of Kogi State, as well as Governor Hope Uzodinma of Imo State. However, Governor Bello of Kogi State met separately with the President and told State House correspondents that he will relaunch his ambition to be president in the near future.
My own first level is governorship, and God made it. And again, I attempted presidency now. Let us not give up hope. We must continue to try. I have learned a great lesson from this first trial, and I am never beaten twice. So please continue to try at all levels, and let us knit together, and I know surely that we are going to make it.
In commemoration of Nigeria's 2022 Democracy Day celebration, President Buhari joined past leaders at the Eagle Square, Abuja, to celebrate June 12th in the parade. Former President Goodluck Jonathan, Senate President Ahmad Lawan, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Mr. Femi Gbajabiamila, the Chief Justice of Nigeria, members of the Cabinet, including the SGF, Mr. Boss Mustafa, were in attendance to witness the ceremonial parade.
For you to run a modern state, it must be based on democratic practices, where citizens should have the right to select whoever will lead them at all levels. And we pray that as the years go by, our practice of democracy should consolidate and even improve more.
I believe that by the time we go the route of 24 years, we would have consolidated on all the gains of democracy. And you can see the amount of improvement that are being made with the electoral processes, which is one of the fundamental things that we need to do to deepen democracy and to make the contest fair, transparent.
On behalf of the Executive Chairman of the Executive Planning Committee, who doubles as the Secretary to Government of the Federation, Mr.
Meanwhile, the President presided over the weekly Federal Executive Council meeting. After the meeting, the Minister of Information and Culture, Mr. Lai Mohammed, told State House correspondents that the Academic Staff Union of Universities challenge might be a complex one.
I don't think because we're having challenges with the university, lecturers, we should stop, primary school students or secondary students from, continue with their education. And I wish that the ASU issue is as simple as many of us think it is. I don't think it's that simple, but I want to assure you that a lot is going on behind the scenes. If we're not concerned, we'll not be looking for means to even assuage the feelings of the union. We're worried, we are concerned, and we'll continue to work towards finding an early resolution of the problem.
The Vice President, Professor Yemi Oshibajo, led several dignitaries to launch the National Tree Planting Campaign at the State House, Abuja. Speaking earlier at the 8th Ordinary Session of the Council of Ministers of the Pan-African Agency of the Great Green Wall, Professor Oshibajo says African countries must continue to explore various measures to combat climate change, desertification, while also addressing food insecurity and poverty across the continent.
Africa is confronted with twin challenges: the ravages of climate change, but perhaps more importantly, the existential problem of extreme poverty. Both, not one, must be addressed. This is why Nigeria's plans to attain net zero by 2060 and our energy transition plan also focus on how to creatively transit to net zero emissions and at the same time increase access to power and high agricultural and industrial output.
In the meantime, Professor Shibata is calling for more U.S. support and concerted effort to tackle terrorism, especially in the Sahel region. He made the comment when the United States Undersecretary for Political Affairs, Mrs. Victoria Nuland, paid him a courtesy visit at the State House.
Please.
The National Assembly resumed plenary session following the conclusion of party primaries. The fallout of the primaries saw some lawmakers defecting, as several of them lost their return tickets.
The position of the minority leader is vacant for the PDP to fill.
The United Nations is asking the federal government to keep the momentum in the response to HIV and AIDS in the country and try to eliminate all new infections by the year 2030. UN AIDS Country Director, Mr. Erasmus Mora, made the call at the official presentation of a book to mark Nigeria's response to HIV and AIDS in the last 35 years.
We are walking into the promised land, but we have not yet occupied it fully. For it to be fully Uhuru, we need to ensure that no Nigerian child is being born with HIV.
Welcome back. I have to say it. When we cried out here on Dateline Abuja, the FCT administration listened to a very large extent. But my fingers are still crossed. I am waiting for the very heavy rains in August and September. That will determine if all the demolition of houses on floodplains, the reinforcements put in gullies and built bridges actually worked. But for now, this week, we took a ride around Abuja to see the places notorious for gully erosions and floods. Please watch this. This is Galadima, just 10 minutes away from Abuja city center. This area is notorious for heavy floods when it rains, and lives have been lost in this gully. The devastation was so notorious, the road was blocked after the last victim died in August of 2019. He and his car were swept away by the flood covering this very access road these cars are breaking the law by following. The flood in this area was attributed to houses built on floodplains in the neighboring districts, driving the floods to this area. There has been vigorous demolition exercises by the FCT authorities to ensure this road is not flooded anymore. Gully erosions are a result of the interaction of land use, climate and slope, and there are a lot of gullies in Abuja. This one near the major road in Gwarimpa district was particularly notorious in the past. These days, people drive along this road without fear, and the demolitions of buildings erected on floodplains in Gwarimpa has also helped stop the flooding on this road. This gully at the Gishiri area was also notorious back in the day. Reinforcements have been put in place to stop the erosion from taking over the road. This is Duse Sokale, 30 minutes away from Abuja city center. A few years ago, this portion of the road was broken in two, following a flood that aggravated this already existing gully erosion. The residents say the interventions from the local authorities are temporary. They're still afraid whenever it rains.
Because we can't presume, even the NAMIT or Natural Meteorological Agency, they have not given, for now, I don't know whether it may rain or, as we're experiencing it little by little, whether it may come up or it may not come up. So for now, we don't know. But what we need to do now is that the government should come and intervene for the road, because like now we need culverts also so that this place can be okay. Even if they do not tie, at least it will be, they should tie it, they should put the gutter, then fix some stones or do it in such a way that the gully the water can flow freely to the river. so that they will not be flooding. Because this is what causes flooding, this dustbin and grasses and everything around here.
Still in Duse Sokale, this road is called the Olusegun Obasanjo Road as it leads to the Obasanjo farms behind these hills. The residents say living here has been horrendous. They are calling for help from the FCT authorities.
The erosion has been very bad during the rainy season. We don't even enjoy this place at all. Most cars, if they are climbing up, going up, coming down, the tire will start, the place is, yes, to start drawing them down. And it's very, very bad. Most times we have most people, like students, school buses, they don't even come to this side. When especially my son's school, if you call them, they'll tell you, take your son to the junction because the road here is very bad.
It's really an eyesore, and of course, every month we check our shocks. The road is very bad. Every time the rain falls, our heart beeps. So we plead on any agency, the government, well-meaning Nigerians, anyone that wants to help us, because we have enough populations there. It's over 3,000 houses in this part and the other part. So we are begging on anybody that wants to help us. They should come to our aid. This is Obasanjo Road farm, but the road has been deplorable situation for the past 5 years I parked in here, and we are pleading. Many people have fallen accidents. They have through bike, they fall. Children coming back from school, you see them falling on the bike. It's really affecting everybody.
The erosion here has been something else. For the past 3 years, it's been stories upon stories. For instance, we have had people come around here and they said, made a lot of promises, they want to do this, they want to do that. At the end of the day, you don't see anything coming forth. Then one thing I also noticed that anytime we have a problem around here, it's usually a very serious crisis for us. There was a time this bridge was totally cut off. People don't go out, people don't come in. So whatever the authority can do is going to go a long way to help.
I think we've been battling with that, and most of the time it has been mostly children, some females. Generally, we have had more like people falling, more people because of the road getting injured. Some have had to carry cast for a long period of time. Some have injuries or wounds they will have to nurse for life. So I don't know, if we can have something done about it, it will just be excellent for us as residents. We had to approach the local council area, and I think at some point in time when it was really that bad, they were able to at least do some what we call palliative measures for us. So, well, we are just managing and hoping that they will do better with what is on ground.
The topography of Abuja is undulating, with hills and icebergs that rise northwestward to a maximum of 1,060 meters above sea level. The challenges to the Abuja master plan has mostly been caused by the recalcitrance of developers, feeding on the greed of residents who circumvent the rules in the chase for cheaper options, especially when it comes to housing. The population explosion in Abuja has not helped either. Will these interventions hold sway when the heavy rains hit in August? Only time will tell. In the meantime, while the authorities do what they must to mitigate the environmental disasters in the FCT, it must note that as cities evolve, master plans must evolve as well. Thanks for staying with us. My guest on the program is Mr. Mukhtar Galadima, the custodian of the Abuja Master Plan and Director, Department of Development Control for the FCT administration. He puts to rest this long-perpetuated rumor about Duse Sokale being originally designed to be a zoo. I tried to get to the end game of the Abuja Master Plan, what can be done about districts with almost zero infrastructure, and how the Master Plan can cater to the population explosion in the nation's capital. Mr. Mukhtar Galadima, welcome to Dateline Abuja.
Thank you so very much.
I want to find out a few things, first of all, because we've been going around Abuja this week. Is it true that Duse Sokale was supposed to be a zoo? Is this, because the rumor we've been hearing around the place, but since you're the one in charge of planning this town, is there any truth to that? Because many people believe that that's the reason why there isn't a lot of infrastructure there. The roads don't exist in those areas. Is there any truth to this rumor?
No, it's not true. One thing we should understand is that there is the federal capital city, and then there is the federal capital territory. So the federal capital city is that area that is being bounded by what we call the Outer Northern Expressway, that is the Murtala Mohammed Way, along the Kubwa Road, and then the Outer Southern Expressway, where we have the Upper Mechanic Village that goes down to, it will go to Kuje and bus at Gwagwalada. So this is the boundary of the federal capital city. We used to call it the crescent shape, but with time, there are some expansion from this crescent shape where we have Katampe extension. But places like Dutse, Buari, these are outside the federal capital city. They are within the federal capital territory. At a point in time, some past administrators have even clearly defined the satellite towns. And Dutse fall within the Kuba satellite town.
Let's talk about the plan for the nation's capital. We've heard the stories. We know the name of this Japanese person who came up with the idea of the Abuja master plan. We know that it's supposed to guide the activities and the development structure of the FCT as the years go by. I am also aware that the Abuja master plan is kind of like a human being. It adjusts with the realities of the time. What is the end game of the Abuja master plan?
For us to understand the end game of the Abuja master plan, we need to understand what were the principles or the philosophy before the Abuja dream. It's very, very important, because it was from this dream that then we gave rise to the plan and then gave rise to the development of what we call now the federal capital city. The founding fathers, in their own wisdom, say the philosophy behind the Abuja should be based on 6 principles. 1, the principle of equality, the principle of citizenship, the principle of environmental conservation, the principle of city beautification, the principle of regional development, and then this principle of national economic growth. And when you look at these principles, gave rise or formed the foundation of the planning of Abuja Master Plan or the Abuja Master Plan. That is it. And the Abuja Master Plan, let me maybe for our viewers that let me explain a little to them, was the handiwork of an international consortium known as International Planning Associates. They were given this task in 1976 after a competitive bidding. Thereafter, sometime along 1978, the document that is called Abuja Master Plan was prepared.
Which you are a custodian of, by the way.
Yeah. And before the preparation of this document, a thorough survey of the then Federal Capital Territory area was undertaken. That is the ecological and then the socio-economic survey of this area. They try as much as possible to understand the geological setting, the hydrological environment, and the general geography of the area, as well as the people.
So what was the result of
the
this
result
research?
is the document that we have, and then the result is also the city that we are all proud of. On the scale of 1 to 10, we are 7 towards that dream.
7 over 10.
7 over 10 towards that dream.
Is it true that the nation's capital was supposed to cater to a particular number of people?
Yes.
What's that number?
3.1 million people.
3.1 million people. What's the population of the FCT right now?
I think we are beyond that.
We are beyond that.
Yes.
Does the plan cater to the fact that this expansion would happen? Because one of the criticisms about the Abuja Master Plan is the fact that we're not taking into cognizance the reality of our country. The truth is that a lot of subnationals in Nigeria are not functional. And a lot of people, it's in droves. They move into Abuja as they should. They have the right to search for greener pastures.
Yes.
Does the Federal Capital Territory have the capacity? Does this master plan cater to this increase that is not going to stop anytime soon? You do know that as the economy gets worse, more people will keep moving to Abuja, and we'll still have these people coming in. We'll still have to be dealing with the same problems over and over again. Does the plan cater to this scenario?
Yes. You see, the beauty of Abuja Master Plan is the provision meant for flexibility. And you see, when we're talking about the Abuja Master Plan, the Abuja City, there is the regional development plan, where some of these things, these challenges that you are talking about, has been provided for, because it's supposed to cater for the entire people that comes in. So not only the city was planned for 3.1 million, but now I believe statistically we're over 3.1 million. But the regional territory is there also to accommodate. It is designed to serve as kind of intervening opportunity for the excess that will come in. So that's why one of the reasons why we have the satellite town development department, because by the time you provide some of these infrastructure facilities and services, a lot of people will prefer to go and stay outside the city proper.
What number will be too big?
You see, there is always a room to adjust.
What number will be too big?
10 million will be too big.
10 million will be too big?
Yes. 10 million will be too big. But when you look at the territory itself, that's about 8,000 square kilometers. And when you look at Lagos, which is not even half of that size, look at the population that is Lagos is catering for. We are not praying to be like that in terms of population size on this, but we have the provision to cater for the excess.
If the number hits 10 million, what's going to happen?
Definitely something will come up.
Such as?
Regional development plan.
Regional development
when we say regional development, now we are not looking at ourselves as FCT. There is also, that's why I say the plan is so flexible, it has all made provision for some of these.
So a regional development plan that will cater to this excess number?
The excess is that you share the rest to adjoining states. There is what
share the rest? How are you going to do that?
We have what we call we're
talking about people here.
With contiguous states with FCT.
How are you going to share?
By the time we start spreading our infrastructure facilities to adjoining states, then these people can move on there and stay. Like now, most people come from Nasarawa to come and work in the FCT, come from Niger, Suleja to come and work in the FCT. So that's what we mean by sharing the rest. Then we have a provision where we have to do joint planning commission with the adjoining states. So that's what I mean that we share it to the other states.
Mr. Mukhtar, you have your work cut out for you. In less than a year, you still have a lot of work to do. But we do want to thank you so much for making out the time to be with us today on Dateline Abuja, and good luck with the rest of the time you have.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so very much for this opportunity.
Thanks to my guest and to everyone who spoke to us today on the program. The current metro area population of Abuja in 2022 is 3.6 million people, a 5.43% increase from 2021, and that's just the metro area. The United Nations estimates that in 2032, that figure could hit 5.5 million people. Listening to my guest, I get the feeling that the planning for the nation's capital is one that should continue to evolve. And he did say the realities of our country are reflected in this Abuja master plan. Subsequent administrations must bear this in mind and provide the necessary political will to ensure we have the Abuja of our dreams. And that's Dateline Abuja this week. Please let us know the happenings in your neighborhood using the social media handles showing right now on your screen. Thank you so much for watching. I am Kayla Magwa. See you next time.